Hello everyone, welcome to a update video. I'm sorry I haven't been updating you guys in such a long time. Winter was here, and winter was interesting. It was less chilly than last year. It had less rains. There were times where it even had warm winds. Obviously, we can talk about the entire season's weather all day, but there are so many other events that took place during this winter. I think it's important to talk about that. But let me just say that even today it was pretty chilly for a spring day. So I'm guessing that winter is just went out with a bang and left some of its chilling hair behind. So let me just say that this winter was pretty eventful for me. So let's start off by saying that I went in July to the hospital, and this is for my checkup because I have a heart problem. So I've been going to this hospital for some time, and almost every year I go to this hospital. And when I when I do, we just go through the standard procedures of a checkup. Nothing major, you know. This time we arrived pretty early, and normally you pick a number and wait until they call you, but the entire section where we wait, um no one was there, no one was waiting. So I was like, okay, what's going on? When something doesn't really work on schedule, something in your mind just makes you feel like is everything is bizarre. You feel completely alienated. We asked for some help, and thank goodness this patient helped us. And obviously, we picked a number. We went out, and you have to go to this little section close close to the waiting area, and you show these workers your card, and they print out something with your information, just one paper, and it'll also have the fee of the hospital, and that's it. Now, normally these people come extremely late. That's why I felt so alienated that day, because normally they come like really late. But there was only one lady working, so I'm guessing she either came early or she was just working for extra hours. Or that day I was really blessed because normally they don't really come that early. Normally we're waiting like till 5, and then a few people will come, and the number you picked will be really, really, really behind. So yeah. Anyways, after we got through that, we waited near our ward, and we were just waiting and waiting. Pretty quick, actually. The door was open. We went in. Everything was pretty much okay. Went through my basic checkups, which were the measurement checkup first. They measure you, they weigh you, they put something on your thumb, and then they basically um, check your pressure. So pretty simple stuff. Went to the X-ray, went to the ECG after the X-ray, and the doctor actually shaved my chest because those sticky tabs were not picking up anything. So yeah, well, the cables were not picking up anything um, because there was hair on my chest, and that's just it. I haven't been shaving in such a long time, so yeah. um, Gotten pretty lazy, but still, it was bizarre for the doctor to have a hidden drawer under a machine where she kept a shaving blade, a really big blue shaving blade. She shaved off my chest, just small parts, stuck this little sticker, and then she connected these little connectors, these little cables, and then it picked up the reading better. And after that, um, went to see the doctor. And normally these doctors come later, like pretty late, like 2 3 hours after everything. You're just waiting and waiting. Okay, maybe not 3 hours, but you wait quite a while just for them to arrive. But the doctors were there early, or at least two of them. saw the doctor I saw last year, and she checked me up, and then she sent me for an echo, which that's supposed to take even long. But for some reason, that day the doctor came a bit early, and I was immediately seen to, and after that went back to the doctor, and then we got our date for the next visit, and that was it. That was basically it. Oh, I also took some really really interesting gummies on my trip to the hospital. You can take snacks or whatever. People will just bring lunch or whatever, or chips or whatever, but I packed gummies. So I recently bought gummies, and then I thought about just, packing a few for this experience, because I don't know, I don't want to bring any other lunch, so I might as well just take gummies. And these were the gummies that really stuck to your teeth. Kind of annoying. That's why I barely chewed them. It was just so difficult to even eat them, but they really tasted good. Um, Anyways, moving on from that experience, weeks later, I had to go to the oral surgeon. Now, if you guys don't know, if you haven't been watching my live streams, I've been suffering from something. I forgot the word of it. I found out about the word on YouTube. It just came, like, I think the same week I went to the oral surgeon, or before I was going to go to the oral surgeon. I can't remember. It's something. It does happen to other people too. So it's not it's rare, but not super rare. So, anyways, I went to the oral surgeon, and I had a full 360 scan and X-ray, which is so bizarre because normally we're so used to having like simple X-rays, but this one was completely different. You have to bite some plastic, and then a machine will just go around you, a full 360 around you. Basically, kind of cool. You just have to stand really still, which I did pretty well. And then they get not only X-ray but a 3D scan. And then we went to the oral surgeon's room, and the oral surgeon explained what's going on. And when you look at the 3D scan and even the X-rays, you can see the problem. I thought it was just these two abscesses that I've had that were causing the problem, but deep beyond those abscesses, on the bone, on the bone, it was completely black, so it was rotten. And I don't know how long it's been rotten, but I'm assuming it's been rotten ever since I started getting those pus coming out. Like pus bubble coming up, and when you pop it, it comes back. So it's like an immortal bubble, you know, a reviving bubble. So um, yeah, it was extremely annoying. Every morning I would wake up, look under my lip and see the bubble, and I would always stress about it. But once we had booked the oral surgeon appointment, I stopped caring as much because I know something was going to get done. Um, Before that, I was going through the dentist, and the dentist was performing root canal. So he did these in like small steps, and he couldn't completely finish it because the pus kept coming out. But the oral surgeon insisted that the dentist I went to before finishes up um, on the I'm forgetting stuff, guys. I'm sorry. I'm trying to remember everything. I keep forgetting stuff, and I'm sorry if I'm sounding so brittle. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. It's been a while since I spoke. Um, so, anyways, the oral surgeon insisted that I go back to the dentist to finish off my root canal. It just needs to be finished just a bit more, and then the oral surgeon can perform surgery. And then the next week we went on a Wednesday to the dentist. He finished the root canal. And then after that, on Thursday, early in the morning, we left to the oral surgeon. And when I was there, we waited a while. We arrived pretty early, earlier than the surgeon. So we waited a while, like 30 minutes, and the surgeon arrived. And then 10 minutes after that, I was on that seat, and then uh, the oral surgeon numbed my gums, the on that area where he was going to perform surgery. So he numbed it multiple times. Also with the injections, like first he rubbed this little thing on it, then he injected multiple times. So yeah, it was pretty big. It was like a pretty big lump now on my on my freaking gums. So I waited a while for that to like settle, and then he came back and he started with the surgery, and I could barely feel like any cutting on my gums. But when he came to my bone, that was a different story because I felt some pain at times. And he even had this instrument, like a double-sided instrument with two things on either end. And he had this like thin bandage he kept pushing in that hole that he made, because obviously he had to drill in my bone, so I had to feel everything. And when he was pushing with one end this bandage into that a hole to soak up blood, when he used one hand, it wasn't paining, but when he used another end, it was extremely painful. I couldn't see the full tool, so I can't really explain why it hurts with one side and the other side it doesn't hurt, but it just really hurts one side. And after that, he stitched it up. And when he stitched it up, it was pretty cool because you did not feel a thing on the gums at all. It was like totally fun, you know? And after that, done, done. After that, he finished it. And then I came home, took some antibiotics, took some pain medicine. What else can I say? Um, it was an interesting experience to have such major surgery on my mouth. Few days after that, a few days after that, it was on Monday, and I was laying down on my bed, and then I was lifting up my lip, looking at the stitches, and then below the stitches, I saw a little bubble. That frightened me because it reminded me a lot like the bubble I've been getting before the surgery, the pus bubble. And I was like, oh, please tell me this surgery helped, because in my head I was like, what is this exactly? So I touched it. I kept touching it, and then pop, it popped. And when it popped, no pus came out, nothing. It deflated, but blood came out from my teeth. The same, well, the tooth actually, uh, the tooth that's just below the surgery. Blood started coming out from from the roof and leaked to the sides, and I was completely cold. I i just couldn't really do anything because I was terrified. I think I even went to sleep early that day because I was just so disappointed in myself. Why on earth would I even touch that? you know imagine doing that. Imagine being so pathetic that you have to touch that and you have to pop it. Like, why did I pop it? I'm extremely disappointed in myself for doing that. I should have never done that at all, and I'm sure many of you guys are disappointed in me too, because that's a very low thing for me to do. Obviously, it did not seem like it was connected to my surgery, but obviously it possibly was some kind of blood clot, and still I popped it. It's not something I should have done, and I'm sure many of you guys are disappointed, just as I am disappointed in myself. And it's just kind of hard to really process that, because I just ever since that day happened, I just don't really trust myself anymore. And then for that week, I was pretty depressed, extremely depressed. Blood was coming out little at times, and even a few days ago, when I checked the mirror on my um on my freaking sorry, I'm using the wrong prepositions, in my bathroom, I checked the mirror, and then I was just looking at it, lifting my lip without touching it, obviously, just staring at the mirror. And and then on the side of the tooth, I saw like blood squirt out, which is like, oh my gosh, why? It wasn't as bad, but it was just really irksome. Even a week before that, I checked the mirror, and just close to the roof of that tooth, there were like two little dots. I don't know what dots they were, just like two bizarre dots on my tooth. And then I just looked at the mirror for a few seconds more, and then blood just started oozing out. But it was extremely brown, not red, just brown, like dirty blood, or old blood, or something like that. You know, unlike the red blood I received the first time the first time. So yeah, that was a problem, definitely a big problem. And even today too, I'm just like so uneasy of that. Moving on, moving on. Let me just say that um, wow. So that week, I was extremely disappointed in myself, still am. And on that Friday, someone tried to break in our house. So on the Monday, I popped the bubble. I made myself extremely disappointed in myself. And that Friday, trouble happened. Someone came from the back and snuck in the yard, and then in between my neighbors and our side, it was this stranger was waiting, and he was timing my mother. My mother always go outside, put clothes on the line, and then take it out, put it inside, stuff like that. So I'm guessing he was watching from the other side, and then he came into our backyard, and then he was waiting in between the neighbor's yard and a wall, and just in between that, he was just waiting. And after that, once my mother went to the line again, he immediately went towards the front door, and he opened it, tried opening it. And then my brother saw that, and he called for my mother, and I was like, okay, what's going on? Because there was a sense of urgency in his voice. I've never really heard him call anyone with that sense of urgency, unless it's like some kind of problem going on, unless it's really serious. Something must have happened. Maybe a monkey broke in. We get a lot of monkeys outside, but on this day we had no monkeys. Really strange. And then he was calling for my mother. I went to my sister's room calling for her, but she didn't hear. And he didn't explain what was happening at first, so I had no idea what was going on. I was like, okay, what is going on? And then my mother came in, and then he explained that someone someone came in the yard. Someone tried to open the door, and it was extremely worrisome. But then he saw him run down the driveway. The criminal ran down the driveway. He actually went to my neighbor's house and stared right at her, right at her face. And then he just ran out down the driveway when she started calling for her son. So, really crazy day that was. And watching the footage, the camera footage of this guy enter the yard, enter like a snake, crawl our backyard so creepily. It was extremely scary. The fact that he was timing my mother, that really made me upset. Like this guy really thought my mother was possibly living alone, and or everyone was away and she was the only one at the house. So yeah, it was extremely quiet that day too. No monkeys, no problems. It was an extremely strange circumstance for him to come in that time. That should have been the sign. Everything is too quiet. I wasn't making videos. I wasn't making videos at all. I was eating, and before that I was working on some of my stuff. So I wasn't speaking. There was no voices coming through my windows. So it wasn't lively. And then a few weeks after that, maybe a week or two after that. No, no, no. I think it was 2 weeks after that. I can't remember now. But I got cut. I was wearing this really warm pants, and the zipper was broken, so I kept like fidgeting with it, and then I got cut. I got cut because my nail, um, because my nail. Okay, I can't show you obviously. This is a freaking voice recording, but my middle finger on my right hand was pierced by the zipper, and it went through my nail basically. Well, underneath my nail, and blood was coming out, pouring out, and then it stopped for a while, and then it came back, and then the day after that, the day after that, I was at the garden, at my not garden, at my well, I call it a garden, but it's basically a one row of pot plants, and then I was pulling out some grass growing on one of my plants, and then a bunch of soil went on my hands. I pulled out the grass with my same right hand. I don't remember using my middle finger, but I pulled it off at the same moment, and like you could say a minute after that, I washed it. And then the next day, I was like, oh my goodness, I pulled out all the plants, all the grass. Oh my goodness, you know what that means? Tetanus. Because a few days before that, I was watching something on tetanus, and it really spooked me. So, so for me to get such a warning sign, and then get cut, and then the next day touch grass and get soil on my hands, that was really terrifying. Then I had some debates with my mother because I really wanted to know what would happen. Like I wanted to take the tetanus shot. I haven't had them in a long time. Like you could say, like the only time I've had them, the tetanus shot was back when I was small, tiny. So yeah, I'm sure it doesn't work anymore. Maybe it does. I don't know. I don't really know. Anyways, I was extremely worried, and the thing is, on that Friday, no, in fact, it was actually a week ago or 2 weeks. Okay, I can't remember. Regardless, a week or 2 weeks ago, after the attempted robbery, um, on that Friday, I was discussing about the tetanus stuff, and during that time, while we were discussing that, we had no power because they were fixing something. There was something that happened. I don't know the full story of. So they were fixing the power. So a large section of houses did not have power for a while. So that entire Friday, we had from the afternoon we had nothing, and then by the evening we ordered food, McDonald's, and then when I was eating my McDonald's, I was enjoying it, but then I've I bought a chocolate milkshake, and the chocolate milkshake tasted strange. It tasted like coffee for some reason, or toffee. I never had chocolate milkshake from them in such a long time. I'm not sure if it's supposed to taste like that, or they mix my order with possibly frozen toffee. I don't know, or maybe I mistakenly chosen frozen toffee because it did not taste like chocolate. Or maybe that's just how they make chocolate milkshake. That's weird, but yeah, it's been a while since I've drunk chocolate milkshake. Anyways, 6 o'clock the power came on properly. Like an hour before that or two, power came on, but it was just for a second. And then obviously, for 1 hour, 6 to 7, power was there. Or well, I guess 6 to 7. It was just there for an hour basically, and then they put the power off, working on something that I guess no, it wasn't actually putting the power off. I think something was wrong, and they did not have enough nighttime workers, late shift workers, so the entire night we had no power. And then the morning was even weirder because we had no power too. We had no power whatsoever. And then by 10 and around 11, we went to a restaurant called Pedro's. I don't think it's in other countries. It's pretty much South African. And I would say it's pretty much an alternative, a cheaper alternative to Nando's. I know many in the world know what Nando's is. So, yeah, just think of Nando's, but a bit more different. And I really like the style of this. I think I've had Pedro's before, but that was back in 2020, possibly. So, having it again, it actually tasted pretty good. We waited for a while and then went home and I ate lovely, but still no power. We had no power. And then only by, you could say, like 10 at night, we got power. Yeah, really late we got power. It was insane because a lot of our foods obviously were not going to survive this long period with no power. Our freezer was melting. The ice cubes were even melting. Okay, they were coming out of the tray. It was so bizarre. And what it made me realize was we are not prepared for anything like this. Power outages we normally used to, but not like this. This was ridiculous for like a full day basically. For like 20 something plus hours we've had no power, and that's completely ridiculous. So it makes me want to be ready for the future. You don't know what's going to happen in the next week, and that's the worst part. So after that, what happened after that? I can't remember. I can't remember if there were any more problems. But yeah, after the power stuff, I think that was like the last major problem I've had during the winter. Besides the bloody tooth, yeah, I think that's like all the last problem. That's like the final problem I faced, the final arc of winter. But of course, spring is going to have multiple arcs, multiple disappointments, multiple events to go through, and even December too, and that's how it's going to be. Anyways, sorry for this long video, and sorry if I sound so brittle. Sorry if I'm stuttering a lot. I normally don't do that, but I really just need to find some proper words. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. Bye.